Week 17 Fantasy Football Championship Weekend. We are here to answer all of your start-sit questions. This is Club Fantasy Start-Sit Different Day. I've got Joel Wirth. I have Ryan Weisse. Myself, Josh Hudson. We're here to answer all of your Week 17 start-sit questions. Let's get into it. Welcome, everybody, to Start Sit Different Day here at Club Fantasy. I'm your host, Joshua Hudson. With me today, because Joe said hockey games are more important, I have Ryan Weisse. I have Joel Wirth. Gentlemen, we ready to win some championships?
Well, I know one I won't be winning.
Go ahead, let's get the animosity out of the way really quick.
No animosity. Joel is in the championship where he belongs. It's just not too often that I have to do a show with the person who knocked me out of the playoffs the very next week because Josh don't knock me out. It's
almost like somebody planned this.
But no, Josh, you should be the one who's upset. I mean, you got just railroaded by Kelly, so yeah, that was rough.
I look at it this way: if Jalen Hurts doesn't get hurt, I win.
Yeah.
Like, it is what it is. Like, I can't control injuries. I mean, I put up 95 points and didn't have one of my starting quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I can live with that. It sucks, but I can live with it.
Did you see Josh in the non-discriminators dynasty we're in, that the one semifinal was the two highest scores of the entire week, and then like the other semifinal each scored 50 points lower. So the one semifinal was like 200 to 195. And then the other one was like 154 to 145. So the guy who lost, my friend Dan, is out of the championship, even though he outscored the other two teams by 50 points. So
that happened to me in a couple leagues. I got bounced in the semis as the second highest scorer of the whole freaking playoff. That's why I think it was you and we were talking. I was like, this is why the Final Four needs to be best ball. Like, just send the top two.
I remember when you said that. And I have a feeling my friend Dan Metzger would completely agree at this point. So,
all right, before we get into anything else, we got a super chat from Cuddy. Tight end premium. Who are we going with here? Tucker Kraft or Chig Okonkwo? Ryan, I think I know your answer here.
I do actually still have Kraft ahead. Minnesota's relatively mediocre against the tight end. Chig is obviously my stream of the week. But Kraft has that touchdown upside that I don't know that I want to leave on my bench. The one thing is, while Chig has been a target monster, he has not found the end zone. I think he has 2 touchdowns this entire season. The last time Kraft played Minnesota, 53 yards and a touchdown. I'm probably going to stick with the stud here. And I know calling Kraft a stud is a little bit of a stretch right now. I'm going to go with Kraft over the stream. So,
Joel.
Yeah, I'm with Ryan. I do like Chig this week, especially with Mason Rudolph. But yeah, this Minnesota Green Bay game is like, it's one of the only watchable games tomorrow, and it's going to be an absolute shootout. I mean, Green Bay their secondary is just not healthy. They're going to be without Jair Alexander and probably Evan Williams and Javon Bullard again. So yeah, Minnesota's going to score points. Green Bay is going to have to score. This is not going to be Josh Jacobs' game. They're going to have to throw to keep up. So yeah, I think Kraft is going to be very involved. So, yeah, I don't think you can bench that.
Yeah, I think I'm going to lean Kraft here too. I was trying to weigh with the tight end premium.
That could. And then I think back to Brock Bowers catching 11 balls against Jacksonville last week. I promise you that was running through my head is, if I'm going to change my answer a bit, if this is a full point tight end premium, 2 points per catch, I'll start Chig over Kraft. If it's 1.5, I'll start Kraft still. So
I think I would go that same route.
Though he just thanked us for agreeing with him as I throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing.
He said it's 1.5. So there you go.
I still like Kraft in that format just because like they're going to blitz Love a lot, and I think the Kraft is going to be his outlet.
Yeah, so, nice little outlet.
So yeah, I think he's going to be the outlet there. So I think he's going to get a ton of targets tomorrow.
I don't disagree.
Yeah, at 1.5, I'm fine with Kraft.
There you go. All right. Before we get into some of the other start-sit questions, I got to pay a few bills here. Yeah. We're going to talk about our sister site, Women in Fantasy Football, and our partnership with TrophySmack. So head over to trophysmack.com/WOFF, WOFF. Get yourself a nice little championship belt. You see one here. Ryan's got one on display. Joel has one. They also have trophies and championship rings. They have wall smack that you can decorate your office, your hallways, your kids' rooms. All of it is customizable. Head over to trophysmack.com/WOFF, WOFF. Use that unique link. All those commissions help us continue to support women in sports. Women in fantasy football just got credentialed for the Super Bowl this year. We're going to be sending 4 amazing ladies to go and cover the Super Bowl for us. We'd like to be able to provide something a little more than just the passes. So when you use that direct link, that helps us help them. But from now until January 31st, anytime you pop on there and you decide you want to get a belt or a trophy, add a ring to your cart, use promo code WOFF, WOFF, and get some free bling. Customizable or some of their standard ones. All that, get the ring for free with a purchase of a belt or a trophy when you use promo code WOFF. That's WOFF. All right, Ryan.
Yes.
Get some injuries. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, and unfortunately, it's names that we did not want to hear. First and foremost, I want to point out there are 3 Saturday games, so you guys need to be checking your lineup right now. This show is probably going to run right up to kickoff for the Chargers in New England. So we got Chargers at New England at 1 o'clock, Denver at Cincinnati at 4:30, probably the game I'm looking the most forward to, and probably the game I'm looking the least forward to. Arizona at the Rams at 8 o'clock. So should be an interesting week. 3 games. Make sure you guys are checking your lineups. And again, sounds like elementary. You're in the championship, but make sure you get these guys into your starting spots versus your flex spot if possible, so that way you have some flexibility for tomorrow. Looking at quarterback, it's not good. It's actually not that bad, except for those who have Jalen Hurts, who probably, I was going to say got you to a championship, but he probably got you knocked out of the semifinals like Josh last week. So Jalen Hurts is going to be out this week with that concussion. Anthony Richardson is questionable. Derek Carr practiced a little bit. He's going to be out. And Jameis Winston listed as questionable, but they did announce that DTR is going to be the starter in that game again. Chargers today dealing with some injuries at running back. Gus Edwards is going to be out. J.K. Dobbins listed as questionable. They don't really have anything else than Kamani Vidal, so I expect we're going to see Dobbins a lot this week. Trey Benson listed as questionable. James Conner listed as questionable. Seems like Conner's going to play, so the backup running back's not going to matter that much. Alvin Kamara, like Derek Carr, had a chance. He's not playing. He's out. Tony Pollard is questionable. And then if you did not see the heartbreaking news, Chuba Hubbard ends his Cinderella season on the IR. He is going to miss the rest of the season. He will not be playing against Tampa Bay this week. At wide receiver, everybody you know and love is questionable. T. Higgins questionable. Malik Neighbors questionable. Believe it or not, Chris Olave, in what is got to be the most meaningless game of the Saints season, is listed as questionable. His backup or starter, Marquise Valdez-Scantling, questionable. Xavier Legette, questionable. Tyler Boyd, questionable. Devontae Adams, questionable. Sounds like he's going to play. Jalen Tolbert, questionable. He's the new number 1 because I haven't mentioned it yet. CeeDee Lamb is out and on the IR and will miss the rest of the season. So Jalen Tolbert, questionable. Tyreek Hill, questionable. Jalen Waddle, questionable. Christian Watson, questionable. When we look at the out players, I already mentioned CeeDee Lamb. Sterling Shepard is not going to suit up for Tampa Bay. Cedric Tillman's not going to suit up for the Browns, and De'Ami Brown is going to be out for Washington. We talked up Olamide Zaccheaus a lot. Looks like he might get a chance to play. Will Dissly's going to be questionable at tight end, and so is Hayden Hurst. So it looks like probably Stone Smart for the Chargers again today. Mo Alley Cox is questionable. Cade Otton, David Njoku, 2 guys who probably got you into the playoffs, and Njoku maybe got you into a championship. They are both going to miss the week. Kickers are people too. Matt Prater out. Nick Folk out. Greg Zuerlein questionable. I read on the notes today he is still expected to kick for the Jets in Week 17, though they currently have 3 kickers on their active roster, which is a very weird situation for this late in the season.
Well, it's the Jets. Do you expect anything otherwise?
Yeah, because I was setting up my rankings today, and I already had 2 Jets kickers, and neither of them were Zuerlein. And I went and looked, and Fantasy Pros let you check which players you're missing, and it said I was missing Zuerlein. I was like, well, how many kickers are the Jets going to play today? And so it sounds like Zuerlein. It sounds like it won't be the other 2 who I can't even think of who they are right now, but definitely.
Anders Carlson is one.
Yeah, he is. That's right. Absolutely. And
right,
Greg Joseph is the other.
There you go. All right. We got another super chat. So real quick, everybody, for some new names in the chat, friendly, familiar faces. Obviously, if you guys want your start sit questions to jump the line, super chat is the quickest and easiest way to do that. We are Horse for Money, and we will happily help you skip the line. All right. Danny's got 2 questions. First, we'll start at the quarterback position. Ryan, you going Jared Goff or Sam Darnold this week?
You talked me into Darnold earlier this week where I said I couldn't see myself benching Goff, but Darnold in that indoor in a game that matters this much. God, I still have Goff ahead in my rankings. I'm gonna stick with my gut here. I'm gonna go Goff. So,
Joel.
This is Darnold, and it's not close, to be honest. Especially
with
Green Bay's secondary. Green Bay's actually doing really well against the run, especially when Edger and Cooper is in there. So yeah, I don't think the Vikings are able to. I think they're going to have to throw. I think they're going to throw, and like the 49ers are still most vulnerable against the run. So yeah, I think this is Darnold, and yeah, this is pretty easily for me.
Yeah, it's Darnold for me as well. Basically everything you said. The secondary with Green Bay has been banged up. Darnold, to me, just has more electric weapons than Goff, and not a running back like Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, I like Aaron Jones, but he's not Jahmyr Gibbs. And San Francisco, this might be the game they finally decide to play a little bit of defense, and Detroit's on the road. Sam Darnold's going to be throwing that like crazy. All right. Let's get over to the rest of the start-sit questions.
Nope. Two-part question.
We got another super chat. That's right. It was a two-parter. My apologies, Danny. My apologies. Wide receiver, we going Juwan Jennings on Monday night or Jalen McMillan?
So it's funny because I was literally having this debate this morning. Fantasy Pro says that I'm too low on Juwan Jennings, but I looked at all the players ahead of him, and I cannot move him ahead, and that includes Jalen McMillan. I'm going with the touchdown upside of Tampa Bay this week.
Joel.
Yeah, this is really tough for me. Jennings really has kind of disappeared the last couple of weeks, so I like McMillan's a huge, like he's really taken the Chris Godwin role. So I'm afraid that it just becomes a Bucky Irving game, and like Tampa or Carolina just can't make it competitive without Chuba Hubbard. But I think I still have to lean McMillan.
Yeah, it's McMillan for me. He's been way involved. 4 touchdowns the last 3 games. Jennings' target share is up there. He's just not doing anything with him right now. And then seeing Debo get involved last week, is that a prelude of how they're going to finish the season? I don't know, and I don't want to trust it. Jennings is playing that Ayuk role just at Ayuk light from 2023 is really what it is. Like he's just not as talented as a player, but he's doing with it what he can. Purdy's going to have to throw, so I expect him to get some targets, but I think McMillan right now just has more upside in that offense. Yeah. All right. To the rest of the questions, let me read this really quick. Woke up on Christmas, projected win by 10, told Kamish I was down to split the money. Opponent agreed, and we got our money before the noon game. Hey, you know what? Kudos. And you know what? Kudos for Kamish actually having the money ready to rock and roll. Straight up. No, I'm being serious, because all too often, especially in home leagues, you find this all the time where when the games are done and ready, like the payouts don't happen for like a week, 2 weeks, sometimes a month afterwards. And it's just like, what are we doing, guys? Like, it shouldn't take more than a day and a half.
I had a commish flat out tell me that he spent the money 1 week, and I had to wait until he got his paycheck, and he asked me because he knew I was cool. So
that's brutal.
Wow.
I straight up, as anybody who's watched the show for any period of time, I don't play in enormous money leagues. I do not play fantasy football for money whatsoever. This is straight up my ego that I'm stroking here. So I don't get upset when any of that shit happens. So
I don't typically get upset either, but I mean, like, there are some leagues where, you know, it's $100, $200 buy-ins, whatever it may be. Like those are the types of leagues, like, you need to have that money set aside and ready to rock and roll. Like, yeah. I do have, like, Ryan, our OG Club Fantasy Dynasty League, because I have some weird payouts and scoring. Like, once the season ends, I usually go through and I'm like, all right, now I got to figure out, you know, who gets the payouts for this from this week and this week and this week. So that's why it typically takes me a couple of days to factor all that in. I was going to say,
I do find it hilarious that Josh is praising this commissioner for paying out so quickly when Keith and I also agreed to split the pot, and we haven't been paid yet. So figure that out.
Because I still got to factor in y'all's wins and all that shit. So shut up. Bite me. All right, start sit questions. Jonathan wants to know, you going Jennings, Ladd McConkey, Calvin Ridley, pick one in a PPR, Joel.
Oh, McConkey, easy. New England's terrible in the middle of the field, so this should be a smash day for McConkey.
Ryan.
Nothing to add. I like Ridley as a outside play, but I'm not benching him for McConkey. Or I'm not benching
McConkey either. Ryan, I know we talked about this on, I think it was Wednesday. New England's been a lot better as a pass defense of late, But
It's
I agree
outside
with
wide
Joel. Like,
receivers.
it's the middle of the field where they struggle, and that's where McConkey operates. So yeah, it's McConkey for me pretty easily. All right, Jason wants to know, he lost Chuba Hubbard. Rest in peace, homie.
I say
You
I
going
have a feeling
Tyrone
this
Tracy
is.
or J.K. Dobbins?
I have a feeling this is going to be so many questions today.
Oh yeah. Well,
ridiculous.
between Chuba Hubbard and CD Lamb, we're gonna get a lot of those, I think.
Well,
Joel,
and then
where
I
you
think
going here?
Dobbins' name, I'm already seeing him in like 5 questions as well. The long and short is, we said this on Tuesday. If Dobbins is playing, I'm playing him against New England. So it sounds like he's going. I love Tyrone Tracy. His involvement has been super weird as of late. And so I'm just not betting on the Giants in a championship.
Yeah, I agree. I'm just like, Tracy's hurt too. I mean, he played last week, scored the touchdown on that really nice play at the back of the end zone. But yeah, he's not 100%. Like, I like his matchup better, but I think if Dobbins is a full go, if we get word that he's full go, then I don't know that you can bench him.
Yeah. So you got to pay attention. Hopefully we might even have some news for you on this show at this point. So
that could very well be the case. All right. Stonks wants to know, should he start JT, Bucky, or Chase Brown in a standard? And he made it to the championship. So let's go. Joel, where are you going here?
It's got to be JT, right? It's 3 touchdowns last week. Terrible match, or a brutal match. The Giants are just a terrible matchup, or great matchup, but they're terrible defense. So yeah, this is pretty easy JT for me.
God, to have to bench any of these 3, it's got to be JT after what he did last week, plain and simple. But I don't love benching Chase Brown either. The kid is just so fucking involved. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't like benching Bucky.
Congrats on your championship.
I was gonna say, I feel like Bucky has the best upside of all 3 of these. Am I crazy?
Well, I mean, Bucky's the only one who has competition though, too. So
I mean, fair.
I mean, I guess JT has competition. It's just his quarterback.
If his quarterback plays.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Oh my God. You want to talk about champagne problems? Oh my God. Oh shit.
I'm not benching JT after last week.
Yeah, I can't bench JT. The Giants are so bad on the ground. They're so bad.
It'd be different if they were all 1-yard touchdowns. Those are fluky. My man is breaking 70-yard runs. Do you know how many he's about to break against this fucking Giants defense?
Yeah, and pass catching is completely out the window because it's standard. JT doesn't catch any passes anyway. He's the only one of these guys I've seen rush for 200 yards. So give me JT. Straight up. I think that's the easiest way to look at it. All right, another one from Caesar. 3 disgusting games later, and I'm projected to lose by 70 because he played JSN, DJ Moore, Danielle Hunter, and Ernest Jones.
Oof.
Opponent played Kelsey, the Ravens D, and Leonard Williams. Wow. That's a herder, man. That's a herder.
Yep.
I'm in a very similar situation. I ended up starting DK Metcalf in one, and somehow found myself against Patrick Mahomes, Xavier Worthy, and Mark Andrews, and I currently am also down 70.
He said this is the league where they split, so it doesn't actually matter money-wise.
Oh, well, then that's fine. But you know what? There's still pride on the line.
Oh, 100%. You don't got to tell me.
All right. Charlene has the same champagne problems as last week, but she started Charbonnet. So here we go. She needs a flex and a wide receiver. We're going Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, James Cook, Jonnu Smith, Ladd McConkey. Joel, who are we going here?
BTJ easily for the wide receiver, and then Cook versus McConkey is tough. I think I want to start McConkey.
Literally the debate I had. It's BTJ and McConkey for me. I was going to say I'll start the rookies. So I guess Neighbors.
Okay, real quick. What if it's standard? Are you going Cook over McConkey?
I'll always go with the guaranteed. Yeah, I'll always go with the guaranteed volume of a running back in standard. So I would go BTJ and Cook. So.
Okay. Yeah, if it's PPR, it's BTJ and McConkey for me as well. I don't love sitting Jonnu Smith though, because that dude's been on fire lately.
Waddle's supposed to be back though, right?
That does
potentially
not
all indications. It's 0.75 PPR. So all indications are that Waddle will play today. Ooh, 0.25 per rush attempt. You cannot bench.
Yeah, it's Cook.
Yeah.
See, Charlene, this is why settings matter here.
Yeah.
Yeah, BTJ and Cook for me there.
Yep.
All right. Marky from over on Twitch. Do I put BTJ, Jordan Addison, or James Conner at the flex in a PPR? Would I replace Devontae Adams with BTJ or Addison at wide receiver? Should I also pick the Dolphins or Colts defense this week? Ryan, I'll start with you.
Adams sounds like he's playing, but with those options, I'm going to bench Adams because he has the questionable tag. So I will start BTJ over Adams. I'm probably going to go Addison and BTJ because Connor has that tag as well, and he has no tackles. So I'm going to go Addison and BTJ. And on defense, I love the Colts defense this week against the Giants. Not that I don't love the Dolphins. I'm not as high on the Dolphins as everybody else in the world is, but I'm very high on the Colts. So, but BTJ and Addison is who I'm going with altogether.
I agree on BTJ and Addison. I am 1,000% taking the Dolphins. I will take any defense against Dorian Thompson-Robinson every single time.
That's fair.
Every single time.
The clean sweep on the wide receivers. It's BTJ and Addison. I'm with you, Joel, on the Dolphins. Ryan, we've talked about this. Dolphins are not opportunistic.
Yeah.
The Colts can create turnovers, and they're also playing a very bad quarterback.
TR creates his own turnovers.
I mean, that's
so
fair. I get that.
So fair.
Is there a wrong answer here at defense? I'm not 100% sure there is. Let's be real.
They could very easily be number 1 and number 2 this week.
Yes.
All right. Ice Cold wants to know, you going Cooper Kupp, Juwan Jennings, Khalil Shakir? Joel.
I'm going to say Kupp. He had like that monster start to the game against the Cardinals the first time they played before he got hurt. So, yeah, I'm going to lean Kupp here.
Yeah, these are not the options where I'm going to mess around on Kupp. They're all very close in my rankings, but I'm also going Kupp.
Yeah, Kupp has like 5.4 fantasy points.
I know.
In the last 2 weeks. Like, I really don't want to say Cooper Kupp here because I feel like we're going down a dark path that no, you cannot come back from. But I think the Rams have to find a way to get Cooper Kupp involved here. I really do. Like, Seattle won. They have to hold their own.
They're playing for something.
They're playing for that division. You've got to get Kupp involved. I'm going to lean the narrative that Stafford's going to rely on who he trusts the most, and that's Cooper Kupp.
Josh, we got a super chat.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Christopher. Appreciate you. Needs one flex. Drop your settings in the chat here for me because we've got some tight ends involved, Christopher, if you're still up. TJ Hawkinson, Kayshon Boutte, Antonio Gibson, Jerry Jeudy, Quentin Johnston, or Marvin Mims. This seems like a very deep league.
I was going to say, how the fuck did you make it to the championship?
I hope
this
so.
This seems like, I would say probably at least a 14-team league. Otherwise, we're dealing with a lot of injuries here. So without knowing the settings until Christopher drops them in the chat, Joel, where are you going here picking one flex?
Hawkinson's the only one I trust. Like, Hawkinson's the only good player on the list. So, yeah, Jeudy is, but DTR kills him. So, yeah, I think it's got to be. Like, Packers are vulnerable at tight ends. And that's the one kind of spot on the defense I've struggled with. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Hawkinson.
Yeah. Mims or Boutte are interesting. Mims with that game environment, you want a piece of that game, but the problem is his role isn't secure at all. And Kayshon Boutte is now and forever Kayshon Boutte. So you're going to have to go TJ Hawkinson in this situation.
So I want to pose this portion of the question simply because when you look at the Wednesday games and the Thursday games, there were a lot of duds. If you need somebody with a maximum upside from this list,
Mims,
are we still going Hawkinson? Or do we think he's just overall the safest, best option, period?
I'll go Mims for upside just because of the Denver-Cincinnati game. So
I'm still going Hawkinson.
Yeah, I think I would still go Hawkinson too. Boutte is interesting to me simply because the Chargers are terrible against the pass, and Drake May seems to be doing his thing. But again, for all I know, this week it could be a Hunter Henry week, revenge game, right? For all I know, it could be a Demario Douglas game. Like, there's no consistency when it comes to the passing volume with the Patriots team, and Hawkinson just feels like the safest overall player. And we've seen him pop off for 8 for 80 and a touchdown. So I think he's got enough upside baked in as well. All right, back up to the top. Appreciate you, Christopher. Anybody else that has super chats, by all means, skip the line, drop them in there. If you are new to the channel, like that video, hit subscribe. We're fast growing. We've doubled our subscribers over the past year. We're on our way to 1,400. I would very much love to hit 1,370 by the end of the show. I think that would be great. Just throwing that out there. People.
Lots of new names. No reason for you.
Lots of new names. Yes, lots of new names. So hopefully we give you guys some A1 advice this week and you keep coming back all off season as well. All right, Jared's got a standard league and needs 2. And I also love that it's all running backs because that makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You going Tajay Spears, J.K. Dobbins, or Jerome Ford? Ryan.
God, if Dobbins is playing, I'm not benching Dobbins. I understand there's risk there, but they're bringing him back this week for a reason. No Gus Edwards. So I'm playing Dobbins. I'm going to take the surefire starter and go with Jerome Ford. I know what Spears has been doing lately, and in a standard league, those touchdowns have probably got you to this championship. I'm still going to take the guaranteed volume. Give me Dobbins and Ford.
Joe.
In this situation, I'm going to look at the 2 teams that I think can get a pass interference call in the end zone to get the ball to the 1-yard line. So these
and that ain't the Browns, right?
That is not Dorian Thompson-Robinson, so I'm taking Spears and Dobbins.
I found the theme of today's show.
Wow. I really want to say Spears because he has 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. I got to go with Ryan. It's Dobbins and Ford. Ford's just been so involved. I can't. With Dorian Thompson-Robinson, they need to lean on Jerome Ford. He's going to have so much volume.
Josh, we have a super chat.
Another one. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Jose. He needs 1 flex. Breece Hall, A.J. Brown, James Conner, J.K. Dobbins. Yes. Big time champagne problems. But question marks here. Connor's questionable. A.J. Brown has Kenny Pickett. Breece Hall has been very mid lately. Dobbins coming off IR. Joel, where are you going here for if you need 1 flex?
We still saw Pickett relentlessly target A.J. Brown. He drew all those pass interference penalties against Lattimore. I'm still going A.J. Brown here.
Yeah, I'm not going to bench A.J. Brown. Dobbins is interesting, as you're going to hear me say a lot this show, but A.J. Brown's the kind of problem where I'm not going to be worried about it. I'm going to start him.
Yeah, I think A.J. has been the most consistent, and a close to 60% target share with Kenny Pickett is something to not shake a stick at. So I agree here. Real quick, would this change if it were half PPR? Would you lean Dobbins or Connor?
Nah, not with this group. If it were... Honestly, I don't think I would even change if it were standard. A.J. Brown has the best likelihood of this group to score a touchdown as well. So,
all right, fair enough. Appreciate you, Jose. All right, next one from Jared. He's in a PPR league. Rachaad White or Marvin Harrison Jr. Also starting Kyler, if that makes a difference. Joel.
MHJ's best half of the season came against the Rams.
It did.
I'm really worried that this game the Tampa Carolina game just becomes like a real trap that everyone expects to shoot out and it just becomes a disaster, especially without Gio Hubbard, where it just becomes like Tampa just wants to slow the game down, get Mike Evans his 100 yards or whatever that he needs to be on pace to get his 1,000 and get out of there. So I don't like Rachaad White at all this week. So I'm going to start AJ or MHJ.
This would have been MHJ easy for me if not for those 2 tackles being out. I don't know if he can get open fast enough for Kyler to get him the ball this week. I'll go with Rachaad White.
Yeah, it's Rachaad White for me. He's just so involved in the passing game. And even still, like they play the Panthers this week. I'm not right.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy on that one. Okay. Just want to make sure I've been getting.
Joel just told you it's a trap game, Josh. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I understand it's a trap game. I get that. But this is how you beat the Panthers. You run on them, plain and simple. Bucky went for almost $150 last time. Rachaad White still finds a way to score. I don't know how or why, but they get him involved. MHA has been nothing this year, and the Rams' pass defense has been better of late. This is a very different defense than what it was in week 2 when they initially played. So I'm staying far away from Marvin Harrison Jr., even if you have Kyler, who also has not been great this year. It's Rachaad White for me.
Josh, I just wanted to do a quick programming note. We are about 20 minutes behind on questions. Every question is going to be answered. If you guys want to jump the line, Super Chat's available. We will move you to the head of the line for your money. Otherwise, stick around. Your question is going to get answered, but we have a ton of questions this morning. So,
Week 17, baby. This is what happens. I love it. All right. From Ice Cold, Purdy or Kyler? Who you going with, Joel?
Man, the question is what happens with Kyler when he's eliminated? Like, does he just not care, or is this the week that he just puts up a super like FU kind of week?
The pressure's off, right? The pressure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm going to lean Kyler in this one.
Yeah, I hate Brock Purdy, so it's Kyler Murray for me. Even with all the bad shit I've been saying, no tackles also means Kyler's probably going to run, and I'm just not a Brock Purdy guy at all. So
yeah, Kyler's going to be running for his life. I think Purdy's going to be okay. That Detroit defense lets up some points. I just don't know how much firepower the Niners really have left. It's Kyler. It's close, but it's Kyler. All right. One more from Jared. PPR pick 2: Garrett Wilson, Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan, Malik Neighbors. Joel.
I think you got to go Garrett Wilson because of the Buffalo secondary injuries, especially with Rasul Douglas out. So I'm going to start with Garrett Wilson. And then I'm probably going to go Neighbors, assuming he plays, just on the volume.
Yeah, that's how my rankings have them. These guys are close. I want to see, Neighbors I still have very highly ranked. It's the injury you're concerned with Malik Neighbors. Garrett Wilson's not as highly ranked, but he's still ahead of these other guys just because they're all fighting for that like one big game, and the Buffalo Jets game has, the Jets are obviously out of it, but they have something to prove. Buffalo technically doesn't need this game, and now they're hurt. You hope Garrett Wilson's the squeaky wheel. All the things are playing in his favor to maybe have a decent week. So
it's McMillan and Neighbors for me. So I'm going off pivot. I don't trust anything with that Packers offense that isn't Devontae Adams at this point. I know Adams is questionable, but Wilson just doesn't. Jets offense, excuse me. Yeah, it's just not. It's not working. It's not, and I just don't want any piece of it. Thielen I like from a consistency perspective. Mooney I think can do well if they let the reins off of Penix Jr. a little bit in prime time, but I think the upside and safest bets here are McMillan and Neighbors, just to my personal opinion.
That's fair.
All right, ice cold. Another defense question. Going Colts or the Chargers, Ryan?
They're my number 1 and number 2 defense this week. I am all in on the Chargers. I think the Patriots are in for a bad game. I think the Chargers need this one. I think they come into New England and beat them down in about an hour and a half. So,
who's playing quarterback for the Giants? Y.A. Tittle?
Drew Lock.
Give me the Colts. Hang on, I got to catch a plane. Yeah, I'm going to go the Colts.
Probably the Colts for me as well.
Similar to the Dolphins question. The Dolphins, the Colts, the Chargers, there's no wrong answer on defense.
And then you throw in the Raiders too, because I mean it's crazy, but the Saints just got shut out on Monday.
Yeah,
they got to play in a short week. It's crazy.
Yeah. All right. Deep tight end question here. We going Grant Calcaterra. You going one of Disley or Smart, whoever ends up playing, or Juwan Johnson? Joel.
It's got to be one of the Chargers guys. I'm going to say Smart just because I think he's going to be involved either way. Like I would want to say Juwan Johnson because he was the only involvement. He was the only thing that worked for the Saints, but nothing worked. So it's got to be. I think it's got to be one of the Chargers, and I think Smart's the safe one.
If I was in this exact situation, I would also go Stone Smart. Calcaterra, 1 target, I think, last week. That's not Kenny Pickett's game, plain and simple. He's not good enough to be someone who's leaned on when AJ Brown's on the field. So I'll also go Smart just because it's the better matchup of the group.
Yeah, it's Smart for me as well. If they clear Disley, fire up Disley. That's kind of where I'm at. He's been a lot more involved, and I don't think that they're just gonna ignore him because he's healthy. Because Stone Smart's had a couple of.
So we should find out, and don't they have to announce what is it? 90 minutes.
Well, they're the 1 o'clock game, so it should be coming up here shortly.
So I'm looking at inactives. Right, I have my Fantasy Pros up right now just to see if he pops up as inactive. So I'll be able to let you guys know.
All right, sounds good. All right, another one from Twitch. Let's go running back: Tyrone Tracy, J.K. Dobbins, or Jerome Ford. Ryan.
I feel like we got this exact question. They might have popped over onto YouTube, but if Dobbins is playing, I'm going Dobbins. If not Dobbins, actually, no, we didn't because I chose Ford because he was the starter. I would actually probably go Tracy just because I'm avoiding that Browns offense as much as I can as well. So,
Cool.
Yeah, Dobbins for me pretty easily.
Yeah, it's Dobbins, Ford, Tracy. That's how I would rank them. And then at the wide receiver position, you go in Addison or Josh Downs. I think this is pretty clearly Addison.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
Easy.
Okay, just making sure. All right. Bo Nix, Jordan Love, Ryan.
I want any piece of that Denver-Cincinnati game I can get. I'm going Bo Nix.
Joel.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I don't see any way that Minnesota Green Bay game stays under 60 total points, but I think Nix just gives you that rushing floor that Love doesn't have. So I think he's probably safer.
Jordan Love just isn't throwing touchdowns. That's my biggest worry when it comes to trying to rely on him from a fantasy.
He's just not throwing right now, but I think he's going to have to tomorrow.
Yeah,
I agree. I think he's going to have to as well. And he when he has been needed to throw, he's done it well, which is great. But again, we need the touchdowns for fantasy points.
Yep.
Bo Nix is at least doing that. So I'm on the Bo Nix side here. Once again, Dolphins or Colts. 1 and 2 defenses, right?
Yep. Joel says Dolphins, me and Josh say Colts. So.
There you go. Hope that helps. All right, from Quincy. Started Charbonnet. Not great. Gave him 10 points. In Tampa, it's got McMillan and Thielen. Would you wait for Monday night and play Debo and Jennings with the weather supposed to be a little bit better out west?
I didn't start it, but he needs 2. I didn't realize how far behind of questions we would get. So he needs 2 out of this whole group of players that he's mentioning. So,
all right. So Joel, where would you go here? 2 out of McMillan, Thielen, Debo, and Jennings.
I think the one I'm definitely going to play is Debo because you talked about earlier. I think he is back into their offense. I think the offense is going to try and run through him. McMillan or Thielen, and I'm just worried that they just want to shut down Thielen because he's their only offense with Chuba out. So yeah, I'm going to go with McMillan and Debo.
Yeah, I'm going to probably go the same route. I just don't know that Thielen has the upside that we want because of the fact that David Moore keeps scoring touchdowns and Jalen Coker keeps scoring touchdowns, and they're not necessarily getting the ball. Tommy Tremble finds the end zone, but Thielen doesn't. That's my bigger issue here. So yeah, I'll go Debo and McMillan. I know Josh doesn't want to say Debo.
No, I really don't. Just for that, I might say Jen. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, I would probably stick with McMillan and Thielen. I do agree that they'll probably key in on Thielen with Hubbard out. 34-year-old's not going to be able to separate that way. Debo probably is the safer play from that. So I'll begrudgingly agree with you guys, McMillan and Debo, because that's how I'm going to roll this week. All right, Jamie wants to know, you going Tony Pollard or Devin Singletary? Did not think we were going to get a Devin Singletary question today. Joel, where are you going here?
Wow, that's terrifying. Probably has to be Pollard, but yeah, I'm not happy about that either way. Assuming he's going to play. I know he's dinged up.
Yeah. I feel like Pollard plays, and I'm going to go Pollard. Devin Singletary is the single greatest beneficiary of Malik Neighbors' pass interference calls. So if Neighbors doesn't get a PI in the 5, Devin Singletary doesn't score a touchdown. So I'll go Pollard.
It's Pollard for me. Pick 2 for Jamie. Jalen Tolbert, Jake Ferguson, or Jalen Coker.
Jesus.
Another deep one. Ryan.
No. I guess I'm going to go Coker for sure. I'll go Ferguson just because Tolbert can be covered. I mean, Cooper Rush was throwing him some dime balls, but that was with CeeDee Lamb on the field. If Tolbert's going to have to take a number 1, even if it's
well, keep in mind they do still have Brandon Cooks also.
Yeah, I'll go Ferguson and Coker.
I agree. I just don't want to take Tolbert as the number 1 receiver against a Philly pass defense.
Yeah,
no. So yeah, give me begrudgingly Coker and Ferguson.
Yeah, it's the same for me. Philly has struggled against tight ends, and Nakobe Dean is doubtful. So that's going to even further open up the middle of the field. Ferguson should have a really good day.
Josh,
all right, we got another super chat from Adrian. Appreciate you. Charbonnet killed him, and Chuba was the nail in the coffin.
No.
This is, oof, God, Adrian, man, this hurts. All right, well, he's got Gibbs as his number 1, so you're good there. But he needs a number 1 wide receiver and a flex. was his 1/5 PPR? That's or just needs one out of these 5. I don't know. We'll say it's PPR. Jennings, Neighbors, Thielen, McMillan, or Spears for the flex, and a wide receiver. So we got to pick 2, I guess, here.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if it's just 1, I'm going Neighbors, but if it's 2, I'm gonna go Neighbors and McMillan.
Okay.
I'm going Neighbors and I'm gonna go Neighbors and Spears in the flex.
I mean, I'll stick with kind of what I've been saying all show. It's Neighbors and McMillan for me. Spears has just been lifted by those touchdowns, and I just don't want to rely on that when the volume has been so inefficient. Because if he doesn't score, you're screwed.
Yeah.
So I think you have a better shot with Neighbors and McMillan. Obviously, keep an eye on the practice reports with Neighbors or the game time and stuff. But if Neighbors doesn't play, then I guess I would pivot to Spears. You need the upside at that point. So, all right. And then defense, you going Vegas, which I didn't think we would have that question, or the Chargers.
For me, it's the Chargers. Again, they're my number 1 D this week, but I'm interested to hear Joel's take because, again, as Joel pointed out, New Orleans, no points. So
it's Vegas for me. Like Spencer Rattler is a terrible quarterback. He was a terrible prospect. He's a terrible player. He takes a ton of sacks. He puts the ball up for grabs. Zane Anderson got an interception against Zane Anderson, who's a career special teamer who just happens to had to play safety for the Packers because of injuries, got a pick off of it. This is Vegas for me. I want to target the Saints offense 100%.
Yeah, you can't convince me on the Raiders. I'm sorry. It's the Chargers. you can't do it. You just can't do it. All right. From Richard, Standard League, Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears, Isaac Horrendo, or J.K. Dobbins. Joel, where are you going here?
Dobbins in a standard. I think he's got the highest touchdown upside.
Nothing to add.
Yep, it's Dobbins for me as well. All right, another one from Quincy. Tight end question. Start 1. You going Brenton Strange, TJ Hawkinson, or Tucker Kraft? Joel.
Hawkinson. Packers are pretty bad against tight ends, so I'm going to go with Hawkinson.
Yeah, Josh made fun of me on Tuesday. I have turned my back on Brenton Strange after this one terrible game. But to be fair, I had said last week, Strange was my top streaming option, but he fell behind my big starters, and Hawk and Kraft both fall into that big starter category, and Hawk is ahead of Kraft for me.
Yeah, I'll go Hawkinson as well. He's definitely more reliable. Like Joel said, the matchup, I think, kind of leans Hawkinson. All right. Got another super chat. I don't know what GTQ is, but thank you for the 14, whatever that is.
Yeah.
From Tato, he needs a flex in a PPR league. You going Breece Hall, Ladd McConkey, or Drake London, Ryan?
I wish I could trust Michael Penix. It's Ladd McConkey for me.
Yeah, in PPR, it's Ladd all day.
Yeah, I as well would go with Ladd McConkey.
Ladd.
Oh, I already did that one. All right, quarterback question for Delilah. Bo Nix, Brock Purdy, or Sam Darnold? Joel, where are you going here?
Purdy's the one I'm not starting for sure.
100%. That's what I was going to say.
Kind of the same thing as the Bo Nix and Love question. I'm going to go with Nix because of I love Nix, or I love Darnold and love both, but Nix against Cincinnati with the rushing floor, I think I got to go with him.
Literally nothing to add.
It is very close for me between Nix and Darnold, but I think I'm going to lean Nix because I really don't like that Cincy defense.
I guess there's one thing I need to check because I'm nervous now with all this Bo Nix love. Is there weather in Denver this week?
Game's in Cincinnati, isn't it?
There, of course.
Oh,
Ryan, we live on planet Earth. There's always weather.
Yeah. Is the game in Cincinnati? Jamar Chase versus Denver. You're absolutely right. Okay.
Yeah.
It is. I'll say it is very nice. It's supposed to be in the low 60s here today. So I'm 3 hours from Cincinnati, but Ohio is supposed to be very nice today.
Perfect.
All right. From Steven, needs a starting running back and a flex. Half BPR. Let's pick between Tyrone Tracy, Tony Pollard, Kendre Miller, Jalen McMillan, and Darnell Mooney. Ryan, where are you going here?
Sorry, I was looking at the weather. There might be rain tomorrow. I'm still going to start Bo Nix, but keep an eye on that one.
That game's today, so.
Oh, even better. Okay. Hey, That's right. I did say the 4:00 game was the game I was looking most used to. Too much going on right now. Anyway, we got to start a running back and a flex.
Yeah.
Pollard and McMillan.
Yeah, I think the half PPR dings McMillan a little bit, but I still think he's your best option. So yeah, I'm going to go with Pollard and McMillan as well.
Pollard makes me a little nervous because the last couple of games he's been questionable and very ineffective. Tracy, they've at least been using in the passing game, and they're going to have to throw. I think I might lean Tracy over Pollard here, but definitely McMillan in the flex. All right, another tight end question from Twitch. We go in Chico Okonkwo or TJ Hawkinson, Ryan.
My streams almost always fall behind my set starters, and as I said earlier, Hawkinson is a set starter for me. I'm going to play TJ Hawkinson in this one.
Yeah, I think outside of Bowers and McBride, Hawkinson's as good a start a tight end as there is this week. So yeah, I think pretty easily. I like Jig, but it's pretty easily Hawkinson.
Yeah, I think it's Hawkinson as well. All right, another one from Delilah. They lost Alvin Kamara, but they have Gibbs, which is good. They need an RB2 between Pollard, Stevenson, J.K. Dobbins, Isaac Arendo, and Kendre Miller. Also need 2 flex from those options as well. So which 3 out of this group are we starting?
Well, let's start with, I think we're all from this group going to say it's Dobbins. We like him.
Yep.
He seems to be active. It's Dobbins. So is this full PPR? We don't have anything there. I would love to know what wide receiver options you have versus these running backs. But if I have to choose from these running backs, fuck. I'm not going to wait till Monday night and gamble on Arendo when I don't have a backup plan. So I can't take him out of this group. The Saints are terrible, so I can't go Miller. So by default, I have to go Pollard and Stevenson for my flex options. So
I agree with Ryan. I think you got a chance for an FU game from Stevenson after the fumble concerns, even though he was pretty good last week. So I can't start Kincaid or Chig over those 2 guys.
And that was going to be my next question. They do need a tight end, Kincaid or Chig. Whichever, would you start any of these tight ends over Pollard or Stevenson?
It's nice that you have Chig to start over Pollard if for some reason he's ruled out, but I would go with the guaranteed volume before I would go with a tight end ever. So.
Yeah, and I would take Chig if it's Chig or Kincaid for the tight ends.
I was about to say the same thing. I would take Chig as well over Kincaid.
So I guess the question is, would I start Kincaid over Pollard or Stevenson? And I wouldn't. There's no consistency there at all. So
Nope, not at all. He's not catching anything. He's seeing targets, but not really catching anything. All right, Dobbins or Dowdle. I think this is kind of unanimous with Dobbins, but
J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins. Let me throw out there, you guys, when we're making out like this is an easy answer, we've been debating this all week long. So we're not judging you on this question. It is tough to start J.K. Dobbins with your championship on the line. They got to be bringing him back for a reason, and this matchup is perfect. So this is why we are so in on J.K. Dobbins this week.
100%.
Brutal matchup for Dowdle, too.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, also true. And Philly needs a big bounce back because their defense looked like shit last week. All right, from Chris, would you start the Broncos, Raiders, or Jaguars defense? Ryan, we'll start with you.
I think we're going to finally get our moment of agreement here. This is where you go with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yep.
I guess. I don't know.
Mainly because the Jaguars
still can't take a bad defense over the Broncos, man. Like, I get they're playing
Cincinnati
on the road.
No, yeah. You're not playing that. I get that, Josh. And that is the coin toss here, because there's the other thing. If you want to call the Raiders a bad defense, the Jags are a worse defense than that. So the Jags the Raiders have the better matchup of the 2 bad defenses. I'm going with the Raiders here.
See, Chris, this is why I'll lean on them for fantasy defense, because I suck at this part of it. Just being straight up honest with you. So listen to Ryan and listen to Joel when it comes to that stuff. All right. I feel like we've answered this one before, but Darnold or Bo Nix?
Yes, I feel like this is the folks who got Bo Nix and the folks who got Jaden Daniels could not trade at all this season. So they've had these like weird debates. The amount of times we've been asked Jaden Daniels or Jalen Hurts, and it's like, what a fucking problem to have. And guess what? In your championship, thank God you held on to both of them. But for this one, again, I've been saying it all day. Bo Nix, Cincinnati, high over under. That's the game I'm going with. So
Yeah, I love them both, but yeah, I think Knicks is the safer play.
I would agree with that. All right, for Mr. Magic, full PPR, you going J.K. Dobbins or Tajay Spears?
I'm just going to answer both parts of this, and I think we're all going to agree. It's Dobbins and Darnold, and it's not really close on this one. So,
agreed.
Yeah, the other question for those listening on Spotify, Sam Darnold or Brock Purdy at the quarterback position?
Yeah, it's Darnold and Dobbins.
All right, we got Jalen Hurts out. Who are we pivoting to? Matt Stafford, Drake May, or Bryce Young? I'm going to start with Joel while Ryan composes himself.
Bryce Young is out. I'm going to start May just because this could be a Kyron Williams game. So, and Drake May gives you the rushing floor. So I think he's just safer.
Bryce Young is not out, Joel. Bryce Young has thrown touchdowns in 8 consecutive games and scored a rushing touchdown in 3 of his last 4. He's my stream of the week. I was lamenting the fact that you have to make this decision in a fantasy championship. I even wrote in my article, I hope you don't have to stream quarterback this week because it's ugly. I get what Joel's saying. He's not exactly wrong. But if you love the Chargers defense the way I do, you can't say Drake May. It's Bryce Young.
I, too, am going to say Bryce Young because Tampa's passing secondary is god-awful. So there's that. All right. From our buddy Detroit Beastie. What's up, Chris?
Hey, Chris.
Got to sit one. James Cook, Josh Jacobs, or Breece Hall? Ryan, let's start with you.
We're sitting one.
Sitting one.
Breece Hall's in the worst offense right now. I'll sit Breece.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm going to sit Breece here. Cook's been hot. Jacobs has been hotter. Breece Hall has been lukewarm at best.
I want Chris said he thinks it's clear, but he values our opinion. If you're still in the chat,
I hope he's.
Do we agree? Do you agree with us?
I mean, the 3 of us agree, but
yeah, exactly.
All right, from our friend Jennifer, PPR Superflex Guillotine League. She had Hurts. Now she doesn't. You going Jordan Love, Bo Nix, Justin Herbert. She also has Joe Burrow, if that helps.
I didn't know they did Superflex Guillotine. That's super interesting because early on, if you went with 18 teams, there's not even 2 quarterbacks for everybody. I love that format, Jennifer. If you need someone to fill in at the Fantasy 5 on Twitter, let me know next season. But anyway, super interesting format. It's Bo Nix for me for all the reasons I've been saying the entire show. It's close with Jordan Love, but I'm going to bet on Bo Nix.
I don't know how you go against Joe Burrow right now. Even against a good defense.
No, it's super flex. She's starting Joe Burrow. She needs to.
Oh, she's okay. This is the second one. Okay. Yeah, it's Knicks is the safest of those 3. So yeah.
Now hold on. Is there a hedge your bet strategy here that if the Denver game, since he ends up being a disappointment, do you go with Love so that you're not so invested in one game? I assume this is the last week of her guillotine.
No,
yeah, that's an interesting game theory option.
The season, so you would have week 18 as well.
I mean, it's guillotine. It doesn't matter, right? You live or you die. So
yeah,
every game is a championship. So
that's true too. That's a very good point. I still Love has had some consistency issues. I'm going to go with Knicks. So
yeah, I love that game environment just as much as the Green Bay Minnesota.
All right, didn't mean to knock that question off. So
no, you're good. You are good. All right. Another one, Dobbins or Dowdle. We've answered that one. It's J.K. Dobbins.
Yep.
Hawkinson or Okonkwo. We've answered that one. It's Hawkinson.
And
Dolphins or Colts. We've answered that one. You get mixed opinions on that one.
Yep. So it's Colts for me and Josh. It's Dolphins for Joel. And I'll be the first to admit Joel is better on defense than I am. So
okay, well there you go.
Target the bad quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Target the bad quarterbacks. There you go. All right, from False Prophet, new here. Appreciate you. Hope you subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of fun around these parts, and it goes all year round, not just during the fantasy football season. But they need a starting running back in a full PPR. You going Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, or Ramondre Stevenson. And this is for the championship, y'all. Let's not let him down. Ryan, where are you going?
His running backs have already let him down. If Pollard wasn't banged, he's the easy answer. I'm going to go Ramondre Stevenson. So
agree 100%.
Yeah, it's.
I did just read Pollard has not practiced one time this week. So
that makes me really fucking nervous. So probably not gonna roll Pollard here.
Yeah, a lot of our questions.
Go Madison then over Stevenson.
I say a lot of our questions earlier where we were down on Tyjae Spears. I might need to rethink some of those.
Yeah,
too,
we might need to go back
watching.
on Spears. Well, shit. I mean, look, if Pollard's out, I'm going Madison over Stevenson.
Interesting.
That's where I'm gonna roll.
It is full PPR, so
really
he's catching pass volume, and Stevenson can't fall in the end zone.
And then Delilah, I do just want to throw out there as we're debating this while we debate Madison Stevenson. Delilah asks, "Will Ramondre Stevenson get benched today?" So that's the current mood around Ramondre Stevenson. As I,
you know what? If he keeps fumbling, he just might.
Yeah, as I mentioned, false prophets running backs already let them down. So
yeah, this is a little rough.
The thing with the Stevenson benching is like this happened earlier in the year, and it was just for the opening drive. So yeah, I don't think it's like a full benching that's going to happen. And I still like the FU narrative for Stevenson.
Yeah, I'm with it.
Maybe. Who knows? Gators in 3 championships. But it's coming down to this. Mason Rudolph or Joe Flacco, assuming that Richardson is out.
Yeah, I guess we're just playing the assumption game here. I'll probably go. Jesus, I'll go Mason Rudolph. He's playing for a lot more than Joe Flacco is. So
I think Jonathan Taylor is behind Saquon Barkley as the second best individual start of the day. So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to go Rudolph because like Flacco could play and this could be a 2 touchdown game for Taylor and the passing game does nothing. So, yeah, it's pretty easily Rudolph for me.
Yeah, and the Jaguars defense isn't great either. So Rudolph actually has a pretty decent matchup, but that negates itself because he's not a good quarterback. All right, 12-team, half PPR. They're starting Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones. Would you start any one of Drake London, Jerome Ford, Tyjae Spears, Isaac Horrendo, or Cooper Kupp over them?
I'm going to interrupt real quick. Will Dissly playing? I just blanked on whoever there. Hayden Hurst is out. So you are dealing with a Will Dissly Stone Smart split. So
Dissly over Smart.
Not for this question, obviously, but for one we answered earlier in the show and one I told you guys I would update. So, all right, what's the question here?
Would you start Drake London, Jerome Ford, Tyjae Spears, Isaac Horrendo, or Cooper Kupp over any guys of the following? Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. I was like, who is Jones Sr.? No, I would not change any of those starters.
Congratulations on your championship. You have like a DFS all-star team going.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, no, I'm not touching this lineup in any way whatsoever.
Not either. Yeah, this lineup is fire.
Stacked.
All right. Made it to the chip. There you go, homie.
Congrats.
Jaden Daniels, Jahmyr Gibbs, Chase Brown, Bucky Irving, Brock Bowers, but needs to start 2 out of Jalen McMillan, Malik Neighbors, Rashad White, Brian Robinson in a full PPR. Who are we going with here, Joel?
I don't like B-Rob against Atlanta. They're much, and I don't want to start Daniels and B-Rob in this situation. So I'm he's probably the best in a vacuum, but I just don't like the situation for him, and I don't like the situation for this team. So I'm going to go with Neighbors and McMillan.
Exact same reasoning. Plus, B-Rob was awful last week. So.
And it's PPR, so he's not great there.
And PPR really makes me want to throw Rashad White into that, but I think I would go Neighbors and McMillan here.
Obviously, keeping an eye on Neighbors. So
self-proclaimed hate for Rashad White. Yeah. All right. Jay Blaze has Lamar. Opponent had Fairbairn, Zay Flowers, and DJ Moore. So currently projected to win.
That's a nice week so far.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a full PPR. So do they keep trusting Trey McBride against a Rams team that should thump them? Or would you pivot to Calvin Ridley versus the Jaguars? Ryan.
Only way I'm going to Ridley is if I needed upside. I think McBride's going to be fine, especially. Now, I did kind of make a point against this on Tuesday that when you don't have tackles, you might ask your tight ends to block. but the more likely scenario here is that McBride's going to be quick outlet passes from Kyler Murray. So.
Cool.
Yeah, the only way this is a question is if it's standard and non-PPR, where the touchdown.
Because we know his ass ain't finding the end zone.
Because McBride doesn't score touchdowns, but yeah, in PPR, this is pretty easily McBride for me.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. All right, another quarterback question: Drake May, Anthony Richardson, or Bryce Young? Ryan, you sticking with your stream of the week?
Yeah, so I had Young ahead of Richardson. Richardson was my upside play, and now with the injury, I don't even know that he's that. So it's Bryce Young for me.
Joel.
I'm still going Drake May.
Yep.
I am going to go with Bryce Young. JP, pick 2 out of Calvin Ridley, Tajay Spears, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, Jalen Waddle, Kendre Miller. Joel, I'll start with you.
Man, I want to start the 2 Titans. Yeah, as much as I want Waddle to come back and be healthy, I can't trust it. So yeah, I'm gonna go Ridley and Spears.
Yeah, this gets mildly more interesting if it's full PPR for Travis Etienne, but I'm also going Ridley and Spears. So
I'm actually going to take Spears and Bigsby.
Oh wow,
I'm on board with the Bigsby as a top 10 option this week, and that's where I'm going to stick with. And with the Pollard not practicing all week narrative, you got to ride with Tajay Spears at this point. So now that new information has come to light. So, all right, Ronnie, good morning. Good morning. Full PPR, you going T. Higgins or Calvin Ridley? Ryan.
I've been debating what to do with T. Higgins all week because he's hurt. He's going to play because they need him to play. Cincinnati still has a chance at the playoffs right now. In this, it's a much better game environment. I don't love that he's questionable. I'm probably going to go Higgins.
I'm gladly going to go Higgins. I think this is a good spot for him. I think Chase gets the
Pat Surtain.
Yeah, gets the Surtain treatment. So yeah, their secondary corners are either kind of banged up or not great. So yeah, I'm gonna go Higgins here. I think this is a good spot for him, assuming that he can gut through his many vociferous injuries.
Yeah, let's not forget this is T. Higgins in the questionable tag. We're talking about the reason that most of us hate the questionable tag. So
keep an eye on that pregame injury report.
I was about to say, and this is the helpful part here. Higgins plays Saturday today.
Yeah.
Ridley plays tomorrow, Sunday. So you have, like, if you feel at any way worried about Higgins going into pregame, you can pivot. And you know what? If Higgins balls out, Higgins balls out. Like, it's
Ridley
okay.
can still ball out. It's not like
Ridley
one has
can
to
still
fail.
do well. Yeah, this is a very good matchup. Exactly. All right, from Killer Kev, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Cooper Kupp, Garrett Wilson needs 2 wide receivers and a flex. This is full PPR. Or if you don't like one of them, would you take a flyer on Raheem Blackshear with the news of Chuba Hubbard now going on IR?
Assuming injuries are okay, I'm going to start 3 wide receivers and I'm going to bench Kupp. So
I think I agree. Yeah, there's no way you're taking Blackshear over these guys.
No, exactly.
Yeah, Tyreek and Higgins are pretty easily in the lineups. And yeah, with Kupp's uncertainty and like you said, Josh, he just hasn't done anything the last couple of weeks. I'm going to lean Garrett Wilson, but yeah, there's no way you're taking Blackshear over these options.
I mean, Garrett Wilson really hasn't done much either. I know It's been a little bit better than Cooper Kupp, but
I'll take the non-32-year-old if I'm gambling.
I mean, I guess that's fair. Like I said, I think the Rams still have more to play for. So I think I'm okay going with Cooper Kupp. At this point, Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers are just pat-statting for a lifeless Jets team. They don't give a shit about Garrett Wilson. So I'm going to sit Wilson out of these 3. Or 4, excuse me. All right, from Mark, needs 2. James Conner, Khalil Shakir, Adam Thielen, Jalen McMillan. Ryan, where are you going?
I love the cast of characters that got everybody to the championship is almost exactly the same. Like, congrats to you guys for working waivers and doing everything you did. If Connor wasn't hurt, it's Connor. Connor's hurt. He's down 2 tackles. I'm going to go McMillan and Thielen.
Yeah, I can't start Connor. We got the news that he's just been limping around all week, and that this talk of him being active is probably just because they really have no one else. So I'm going to go Shakir and McMillan.
That's fair. You're certainly taking the better quarterback.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, it's Thielen and McMillan for me. I don't trust the Bills to really want to throw. Like, just kind of lean on Connor for the first half and see what happens. Like, KC already locked up the 1 seed, so Bills at this point are just making sure they get into the season healthy, and Shakir's been their number one guy. So I think it's easy Thielen, McMillan there. I just don't trust Connor at this point. All right. From Daniel, needs 1 tight end and 1 flex. Bowers, McBride, McLaurin, and a PPR. Where are we going here?
Well, let's start with your starting Bowers. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that.
Yeah.
So you are choosing between a 2 tight end set and Terry McLaurin. If this is not tight end premium, I'm going to go with McLaurin. I think Washington balls out this week. So
Yeah, I think McLaurin's one of the best plays of the week, and you're definitely starting Bowers against the Saints.
Yep, Bowers and McLaurin for me as well. All right, we're just over an hour and still have quite a few questions. So if anybody wants to skip the line, we have the super chat function available. We are going to get to everything, I promise you. I'm going to try to do it a little bit quicker so I don't take up too much of these guys' times, and I also have to get ready to go to work. So if you haven't already, hit the subscribe, hit the like on the video. We greatly appreciate it. Everything we do, it's all for you guys. Let's have some fun. Let's win some championships. All right, pick 2.5 PPR. Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Khalil Shakir, Marvin Harrison Jr. Joel, where are you going?
Half PPR, give me I can't start Pollard with that injury news. So give me a Ramondre, and yeah, you guys kind of talked me down off of Shakir with the Buffalo thing. Give me Marv. It's just because I think that's going to be a heavy passing environment.
I've been talking myself out of both these wide receivers, but that's exactly who I'm going to go with as well. I'm going to go Mondre and Marv.
Yeah, I think I have to go Ramondre and Marv. I really don't trust Harrison, but yeah, it's just the Bills' offense right now. I don't want anybody outside of Cook. So.
Yeah.
All right, from Life Lights, Breece Hall with weather problems or James Conner with a questionable tag. Both are out of the playoffs. So, coin flip. Where are we going, Joel?
Breece, yeah, Connor's out for me.
Yeah.
We've heard that he's just limping at practice and he's not 100%. So Connor's just I'm not starting Connor in any way in any league. I've already benched him in leagues where I have him in the championship.
When the position is called running back, I'm going to take the guy who can actually run. Give me Breece Hall.
Well, I was about to say weather problems don't really affect running backs the way they do.
As long as he doesn't fumble,
so
he's straight. So
I was going to say this actually benefits Breece Hall. So I would say Breece on this one. All right. Another quarterback question from Richard. We going Jordan Love or Justin Herbert? Ryan.
This is a game environment. And as Joel mentioned, Green Bay, Minnesota is a great game environment. It's probably my second favorite game of the week. So I'm going Jordan Love.
Yep. Agreed.
Yeah, I'll take Love here as well. All right. Goff or Purdy? I think this is pretty easy. Ryan.
Yeah, it's Jared Goff.
I'm going Purdy. I don't like
you bastard. Oh my God.
See, you're making me lead him down the wrong path when I say, oh, this is pretty easy. Like, come on, Joel.
I think Detroit can just run all over San Francisco and they may not have to throw the ball at all. So yeah, I'm going to take, I think Debo's going to have to be part of the San Francisco offense. I don't like either one this week, but yeah, I think I'm going to have to lean Purdy in this between the two.
It's Jared Goff for me. I'm not fucking around with that 49ers offense. All right, kicker question. I'm going to lean on Ryan because he's good at this. Aubrey with the big leg or Bates?
A lot of people fading Brandon Aubrey. Cooper Rush is doing exactly what he needs to do to keep Brandon Aubrey super involved. It's Brandon Aubrey.
Joel.
Yeah, I agree. And Bates is going to be in San Francisco. They're talking about having rain out there, so that's not a great environment for. If it was in the dome, I would take Bates, but since they're both outdoors, give me Aubrey.
Yep, 100%. And for the 50th time today, Colts or Dolphins? You have two against one.
Yeah, Josh and I take the Colts. The guy who actually knows defense the best takes the Dolphins. So.
All right, we starting Ford over Tracy in a PPR league. Joel.
I'm going to lean Tracy just because I think they might be able to score. I don't know that Cleveland can. You're hoping for an 86-yard run with Jerome Ford, and I'm never going to trust that. So give me Tracy.
Yeah, I felt like we had a similar question earlier. I'm hoping I answer it the same, but I'll also go Tracy.
And especially with PPR.
Well, I mean, right now,
Yeah, PPR to me favors Ford. So
I was saying, Ford might actually see 15 targets with David Njoku out. So.
Yeah, but they're going to be all be at his feet.
So he gets 4 yards. That's fine. I'll take it. Give me Jerome Ford here. I'm not dealing with this. It's back-to-back 20+ point weeks. It's Jerome Ford. All right. One more for Delilah. Full PPR wide receivers are Justin Jefferson, Debo, and Josh Downs. Also have Amari Cooper and Chris Olave, but they stay on the bench for championship week. That is correct because Cooper really shouldn't even be on a roster at this point, and Olave, I doubt he comes back to play.
Buffalo was the most, let's make sure none of our rivals, let's make sure he doesn't go to Kansas City move for Amari Cooper ever. So.
Yeah, straight up. All right. I don't know what this is.
Puka Cup, anytime touchdown score.
There you go. See, you're the gambling guys. All right.
I am.
We think Puka scores.
Oh yeah, I think that's a good bet. I'm gonna guess based on what I've seen. I haven't looked at that specific one. I'm gonna guess Puka anytime touchdown is plus 170. I think that's fair to throw a unit on that. So
yeah, if you can get any kind of plus odds on that, I'm taking it.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Is there a world where you would start Amir Abdullah or Kendre Miller over Khalil Shakir in a PPR league? Joel.
This world. Yeah, I'm doing it.
Which one?
I like Abdullah. He was better
perfect.
than Madison last week. He was very involved. He had 15 touches. Playing against a Saints team that's terrible against the run, that can't tackle. 100% yes.
Yeah, I'm good with it too. Just not Kendre Miller. You cannot play a single New Orleans Saint this week.
Yeah, we fell for the Kendre Miller trap last week, and of course, this will be the week that he pops off. Because
and if he does, great. It's still not what you should be banking on. So
I agree 100%. It's Abdullah for me as well. All right, quarterback question: 4-point per passing touchdown, Bo Nix or Jordan Love? Ryan?
That just makes Nix more interesting because he has the rushing upside. So
yeah, still Nix, but I love them both.
Yep,
fair enough. All right. Next one here.
This was interesting. I saw this one when
Yeshaya is starting Darnold and Jefferson. Would you add in a third Viking in Hawkinson or pivot to Chigokonkwo? Joel.
The game environment should be enough that you can support three or multiple options in that Minnesota passing game. So yes, I still want the better player.
I agree with everything he's saying, but I'm also going to say there is no problem thinking the way you're thinking and pivoting. They are close enough to me that if you don't want to buy 3 Vikings, I'm okay with the move. But I do agree with Joel. Hawk is the better play this week.
Yep, that is factual. All right, from Rome, any concern for Ladd McConkey in the rain today?
I don't think that we can be concerned about Ladd McConkey right now. So.
Yeah, I'm not.
The kid's a baller, plain and simple. So
I agree. I'm not concerned. That's for sure. All right. Needs flex and a half PPR. Amir Abdullah, Tajay Spears, or Tank Bigsby. Ryan.
I'll go Tajay Spears because of the Tony Pollard shit. So
yeah, Tajay for me, but it's close. I like Abdullah quite a bit this week.
It is close. Yeah.
Man, I feel like I'm the only one in on Bigsby.
You are the only human being. Josh, I haven't even heard anybody in on Bigsby this week. You're the first and only.
That's fine.
So if you're right, that's a victory lap for you, buddy.
Yeah, but how often do I take those? Let's be real here.
I'm saying, now you get one.
Well, it's Bigsby. Dobbins, Thielen, or Neighbors in the flex, Ryan?
Oh, I can't wait until tomorrow on Neighbors. I'm going to go Dobbins, but that's interesting. So
depends if it's PP. If it's PPR, I'm starting Neighbors. If it's not, then I'm going Dobbins.
I think I'm just going to play it safe with Dobbins, truthfully.
I mean, it's not like Thielen's
even
a terrible
when he plays,
pivot.
They involve him in the passing game too. So
yeah, man, I hope Dobbins
for a
pops
playoff
today.
spot. Yeah. Yeah, Dobbins struggles. We're fucked.
We're about to lose 15 subscribers if Dobbins doesn't have it.
Well, you know what? We didn't lose that much when we hyped up Sincere McCormick and he laid it done.
People are going to be Googling, how do I get super chat money back?
All right, from our buddy Mike, full PPR, Tyreek, Josh Downs, Cooper Kupp, J.K. Dobbins. Scared of the Chargers and the Broncos. he'll be pulled and is playing at 4. Only have Tim Patrick as a pivot if that happens. I mean,
because of everything you're saying, I'll go Dobbins. They need the win today. They're playing Dobbins today. So
yeah, I think that's fair. Joel?
I can't start Dobbins over Tyreek in a PPR.
And that's so fair.
Yeah, I mean, if you have Tim Patrick, I mean, he had one down game. I mean, all the attention is going to be on stopping J-Mo over the top and Amon-Ra St. Brown in the middle of the field. Like, that's how Tim Patrick's been balling, like, the last month of the season. So I would stick with Tyreek.
I'll tell you what.
They're not going to pull him. I mean, they might pull him from the game after they score their 3rd defensive touchdown, but they're not going to pull him from the lineup.
Don't look at this the wrong way, though. Well, because if they pull Tyreek, they're likely to pull Tua. So I was going to say, would you go grab Malik Washington over Tim Patrick? So that way you have the direct Tyreek replacement. But the fact of the matter is this: if they pull Tua, you want no fucking part of that offense, and
Facts.
that is your much larger concern. So
exactly.
I think Tyreek plays and you're fine. But if you're worried, Mike, I would go Dobbins.
All right. From Tommy, PPR League, Ladd McConkey or Tyreek Hill? Joel?
This one is Ladd in a
It is.
PPR, and I'll take Stevenson over. Yeah, Madison is not an option.
My thoughts exactly.
I already said once today I'll take Madison over Stevenson.
Yeah,
So let's fucking go.
Josh all in on the weird running backs today.
Well, you know, Stevenson sucks. All right. Flacco, Pickett, Mason Rudolph, or Young? Yes, horrible questions. Dyke Jones. Goodness gracious. Ryan, we know your answer.
It's Bryce Young for me. I'm big on Bryce Young this week.
I'm going to go Kenny Pickett.
You
They need
bastard.
to win that game. I love Barkley this week. I think he's a great start, but I think there's going to be some pass game work for him. I don't know how much this Dallas save Mark McCarthy's job thing is going to lean over into a game against Philly that Philly needs to win. So I'm starting Pickett. I want the quarterback in the game that means something.
So this is what I'm going to say. It's never Kenny Pickett for starters. But also, Saquon Barkley needs 268 yards to beat Dickerson's record.
You might get it by halftime.
Yeah.
That's kind of my point. And if
Plus-
you have a backup quarterback, what do? You lean on a running game. And oh, by the way, Dallas's run defense is god awful. You know how you neutralize Micah Parsons in the pass rush? You run the fucking football. This is no way ever going to be Kenny Pickett.
Plus,
It's
didn't
Bryce Young.
Dickerson speak out this week saying he doesn't think
Yeah,
Saquon's
exactly.
gonna do it?
Exactly. So you know that offensive line is saying, Saquon, we got you, homie. And he's just going to do the damn thing.
He really needs to do it this week because we're trying to avoid these asterisks. So
Well, but even like Dickerson wants to throw up a big stink about it. He beat OJ Simpson's record in
And it
2
was
more games.
2 more games as
Right.
well. Yeah.
So he's got no leg to stand on when it comes to that. All right. Asking this again with the new information. Flex 2 in a PPR. Pollard, Stevenson, Horrendo, Kincaid, or Amari Cooper. Joel.
Stevenson, I'm not trusting Garendo going into Monday night. So
Can't do it.
Stevenson's the one. I can't trust either Kincaid or Cooper. So it's still Pollard, assuming he plays.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's give the benefit of the doubt. If Pollard's out, which Bill are you going with?
God. Kincaid, just because he got 1 catch last week, and that's more than I can trust Cooper to get. But
That's
Garendo's
I have nothing
out.
to
Yeah,
add.
I would lead Kincaid.
so I'm going to stick with my same answer, Pollard, Stevenson. But if Pollard is out, I would also go Kincaid.
So I know when we do the injuries, the final reports really haven't been set for Monday.
It won't be
Horrendo,
set.
like, he hasn't been on the report. Like, he's been limited, I believe, right? All
Tell
week.
you in 2 seconds.
That's on the report, right? That you're limited. That's all the report is at this point.
He is.
Yeah.
Listed as questionable, limited in practice on Friday, second straight limited practice to open the week. He remains on track to return Monday night against the Lions.
Yeah, limited is fine. Like, I would take 2 limited practices over 3 no practices for Tony Pollard.
Yeah, that's fair. If Pollard's out, I'll switch to Horrendo.
You know what I mean? So like,
and then I would cut Amari Cooper and get Patrick Taylor if he's out there, or get Craig Reynolds, get somebody as Monday night insurance, get Tim Patrick.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the way that you operate on that, Delilah. That's where I would go anyway. Because they desperately need Horrendo because Patrick Taylor ain't it.
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about cutting Amari Cooper this week, assuming this isn't Dynasty. So
career special team,
even if it's Dynasty
squad guy
seriously.
Patrick Taylor, isn't it? What?
Yeah, right.
Jesus, he was so bad.
Who could have seen that coming? All right. Yeah. Pick 2 for Tony. Cortland Sutton, McMillan, Darnell Mooney, Adam Thielen. Where are we going here, Ryan?
First 2.
Yeah, finally we get a Cortland Sutton question.
Yeah, right.
Awesome matchup.
Josh has asked people to stop asking Cortland Sutton questions.
Yeah. Been a top 10 wide receiver. Stop. All right. Sutton and McMillan for me. All right, another one from Tommy. Jalen McMillan or Jamison Williams. Already starting Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it is a PPR league. Ryan, where are you going here?
Yeah, the conflict of interest doesn't even bother me here. I'm going McMillan regardless.
Joel.
Yeah, San Francisco's pass defense is not a good matchup for JMO, so I'm going to go McMillan. And I think Detroit's just going to run the ball all day tomorrow night or Monday night.
Yeah, it's McMillan for me. I feel like every time JMO has these big blow-up games, that's when he shows up in the start-sit questions, and that's when he ends up with like one catch.
And then he duds.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's his game.
This is what JMO does. He gets your hopes up. All right, from Killer Kev, James Conner, Drake London, standard scoring. RB coach said Conner looks like he does every week. Reports say otherwise, buddy. Who you
that
going
coach
to?
is a liar.
He meant in the face. It's Drake London. I'm not only is Conner banged, both their starting tackles are out this week. So
yeah, it's Drake London for me as well. Pick 1 PPR. Connor, B-Rob, Dobbins, Ryan.
J.K.
Dobbins.
Joel. Yep, Dobbins for me as well. All right. Jalen McMillan or Adam Thielen? Joel.
McMillan.
The consistency of the people who got these folks to the championship. And I'm not making fun because I'm starting Jalen McMillan in a championship today too. It's Jalen McMillan.
It's McMillan for me as well. All right. Jamie is concerned because we've been shitting on Connor all day. Would you pivot to Antonio Gibson or Braylon Allen? Joel, you've been the most vocal about Connor. We'll start with you.
I would probably pivot to both of them, but I would take Gibson over Allen.
Nothing to add.
Yeah, I'll add Gibson as well. Burrow or Mayfield? I think we're getting a little too cute with the Denver matchup here. Ryan.
Yeah, don't worry about Joe Burrow this week. It's Joe Burrow. I understand they have one good corner, but guess what? He can throw the ball to a lot of different wide receivers. So,
yeah, I mean, Carolina's run defense is just as bad or worse as their pass defense. So this could easily be a Bucky Irving day all day. It was last time they played. So yeah, this is Burrow, and we're getting way too cute here.
To be fair, I don't want to get Mayfield is one spot behind Burrow in my rankings.
He's a very good start, but it's a pretty clear tier break.
There's a tier break. Exactly.
Yeah, it's Joe Burrow. All right, from Ronnie, Goff, Knicks, or Love. Opponent has Knicks also. I'm guessing this is a copycat league.
That's interesting. In this situation, it's me and Austin debate this all the time about chalk free squares in DFS. Do you go with Knicks because then if he duds, you guys are on the same footing, or do you go with Love to try to give yourself some sort of leg up? I'm going to go with I'll take Knicks and we'll just cancel each other out, and I'll let the rest of my lineup win me a championship.
Joel.
Yeah, I mean, how do you feel about the rest of your lineup? Do you think you're going to win?
That's a good point.
Yeah, I think those are the bigger questions here. Yeah,
you need help.
100%.
So yeah, if you need help, I'm starting Love. If you think you're the favorite, if you just cancel the quarterback out, then cancel the quarterback out.
Yeah, Joel said verbatim what I would say. All right, Carlos has to start one: Sutton, Ladd, Ridley, or Thielen in a PPR league.
This sucks because Ladd and Sutton both deserve to start, but I'm not benching Cortland Sutton.
I just redid my PTP rankings on Underdog today, and I've got Ladd just one spot ahead of Cortland Sutton.
There you go.
For all of my love for Cortland Sutton, I do have him outside the top 20 this week. So I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey in this instance. And it's PPR, and I think that favors Ladd anyway. So, All right. Sutton, Myers, or Juwan Jennings, Ryan?
Sutton, without a doubt.
Yep, Sutton.
This is where I would go Cortland Sutton. All right, Jalen McMillan or Tyrone Tracy in a PPR. We'll do the quarterbacks later. Ryan?
I don't want to answer that quarterback question, so I'll say
right.
McMillan.
Yeah, McMillan's healthy, so I'm starting him.
Yeah.
All right, and finally, for the quarterback question, Josh Allen or Jaden Daniels in a 6-point passing touchdown league. Since Ryan wants to skip this one, Joel.
There's nobody on the Bills I like as much as Terry McLaurin against the Atlanta pass defense. So when a 6-point pass, I'm going to start Jaden Daniels.
I'll just agree with Joel because I don't want to say either of these names out loud. This is rough. There's no wrong answer here.
This reminds me of, what was it, last week when, or 2 weeks ago when Lamar played Pittsburgh, and we were talking about how like he's never done well against Pittsburgh, and somebody wanted to know like Lamar versus Baker. Yeah. And we were like, look, I mean, if you feel any worried way, shape, or form, and Baker ended up having a really good game anyway. Actually outscored Lamar in fantasy. So, look, you cannot convince me to sit Josh Allen.
That's my problem. Yep.
I can't. There's no two ways about it. I do think, and I'm praying that Jaden Daniels has a good game because I need him in a championship to have a good game. I'm not sitting the Stallion. I can't do it. I can't do it at all. Connor or AJ Brown in unison. 1, 2, 3. AJ Brown. Full PPR. All right, championship week, baby. Questions for today. Be back again for Sunday questions. Well, Dylan, follow us over on Twitter at Club Fantasy FFL. We have our start sit thread that we do over there where we answer Sunday questions. For a running back, Dobbins or Abdullah? Pretty unanimously, J.K. Dobbins. We've been on that train all day.
Yep.
Tight end, Hunter Henry or Chig Okonkwo? Let's go there. Joel, where are you going?
In a like PPR, I'm going to take Chig. If it's standard, I'm taking Henry.
I'm taking Chig either way.
Chig for me as well. One wide receiver, Cortland Sutton or Devonta Smith. Ryan.
Oh, it's Cortland Sutton. Sorry.
Joel.
Yeah, with Pickett, I'm afraid of targets, and we talked about how much work Barkley's going to get. That trickles down to AJ Brown and then to Devonta Smith and then to Calcaterra, who's not even so it's Sutton. As much as I like Devonta Smith.
Sutton for me as well. All right. One quarterback, Baker or Murray. Ryan.
Baker's a top 5 quarterback for me this week. It's Baker.
Joel.
Yeah, with the uncertainty with how Murray's going to perform on it, I'll take the certainty of Baker.
I would also take Baker. And the final tight end question, Hunter Henry or Jake Ferguson? Ryan.
This one is probably the toughest tight end question we've been asked today. Ferguson saw good volume from Rush. They got to throw to somebody. I'll go Ferguson here.
Yeah, Josh, you're the Philly fan, and you said they struggle against tight ends. So I especially with CeeDee Lamb out, I think Ferguson's gonna have to be part of the offense. So I'll lean to that.
Yeah, it's Ferguson for me as well. I want to pull this one up really quick from Daniel. He says we were way too quick on the Connor AJ Brown one. A lot of factors going on with both. Agree, 100%. We've talked all show about Connor and the knee and just kind of limping through practice. We just don't trust that. AJ Brown last week was targeted close to 60% from Kenny Pickett. Pickett is leaning on his wide receiver one. We think it's going to be a big Saquon game. Me personally being an Eagles fan, it should be a big Saquon game because Dallas is ass against running backs. But if Pickett's going to throw, it's going to be AJ Brown. Hence the quickness on AJ Brown. So just wanted to
remember Connor's injury is a hyperextended knee. That's like a 2 to 4 week injury. I mean, he should not be playing.
Especially with Arizona eliminated from the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of Connor, Connor or Jerome Ford in a PPR league? Unanimously, Jerome Ford.
Yeah.
And yet another defense question. We go in the Raiders or the Chargers.
Josh,
I know Ryan's option.
I don't remember you weighing in on this one, Josh, because I know Joel's going Raiders. I'm going Chargers. Josh, I don't remember. I think you
I'll
agreed
take the
with me.
Chargers.
Yeah, you said you just don't trust the Raiders.
Well, I don't trust the Raiders because they're the Raiders, and I am not as good at defenses as you are, and I'm taking the Chargers in one of them in one of my championships. So
Josh is out here gambling on how right I am.
You on Monday.
He wants to make sure the rest of you suffer if he suffers. All right, we got to speed round this, man.
All right, Calvin Ridley or Jalen McMillan, Ryan?
I'll still go Ridley in this situation, unless it's I'll go Ridley. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm going to lean to Ridley.
It's McMillan.
It's close.
For me. All right, for the dirty leagues that go through week 18, thank you for admitting that. I appreciate that. Love that. Would you drop Kendre Miller for Ray Davis with the hopes of Kamara back and Cook resting? Ryan?
Kendre Miller's ass anyway. I mean, maybe not Kendre Miller, but the Saints offense. Yes, I would make this play.
I would too.
Yeah, I'm fine doing it too. 10-man super flex PPR. Current lineup is Jaden Daniels, Devon Achane, Bijan Robinson, Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Trey McBride. Already got Zach Charbonnet playing, and Kyler to pair with Jaden Daniels. Would you consider benching Kyler and playing Brian Thomas Jr. in the super flex spot? I think this is very interesting because it always feels that just because you have a super flex, you have to start a quarterback. And in a 10-man league specifically, I don't think that's the case. Joel, I'm curious your thoughts as like the super flex maestro and one of the biggest Brian Thomas Jr. fans I know.
I would have started BTJ over Charbonnet, but that's not an option. That is tough. Yeah, I think it's an option, but I'm still going to go Kyler.
Give me 2 seconds here. So I was just looking. Kyler Murray in his last 5 games only has 2 over 20 fantasy points. I assume that's 4-point passing, just since everything seems to default to that. Last time he played the Rams, he ate, but that was obviously a whole world ago in week 2. And BTJ only has 1 game over 20 fantasy points in those same 5 games. I'll stick with Kyler Murray. It seems like quarterbacks still have the upside over that wide receiver. So
give me the matchup. It's BTJ. Homeboy's going off this week.
Ballsy call.
Freaking wait. All right, from Tony. Jerome Ford, Blackshear, Horrendo for RB2. Ryan.
I know Joel has been pouring water on Cleveland, and he has every right to, but this situation, I'm going with Jerome Ford.
Joel.
Blackshear's not an option. Come on.
No.
Yeah, I would lean Ford just for the safety because I'm afraid of going into Monday night with just Horrendo. So yeah, I would lean to Jerome Ford here.
Jerome Ford for me as well. All right, from Padzilla, Bo Nix or Bryce Young, Detroit, or I'm guessing the Chargers.
Got to be the Chargers, I'd imagine. Buddy. Yeah.
Or Tank Bigsby or Blackshear. Let's start with the quarterback, Ryan.
I'll answer all 3 quickly because I know it's Knicks, it's the Chargers, and it's Tank Bigsby.
I agree.
Clean sweep. Killer Kev picked up Brady.
He picked up Tom Brady for luck. I love this. That's why I started. I saw
a fun ESPN stat where Brady was actually rostered on more ESPN leagues than like 4 or 5 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And I could not stop laughing about that. I thought it was phenomenal. All right. Got Drake May in the lineup. Do I start him or hold out hope for Flacco? Rudolph, it's a PPR. Rest of the team is solid. Bijan, Chase Brown, JT, Terry McLaurin, Ladd McConkey, Trey McBride, Colts D, Jake Bates. I mean, Drake May is the better option over Flacco and Rudolph.
100%. Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Yep.
Yeah, I don't think that's a question that we really need to ask here, Costa Hockey. Jason, start 2. JK, potentially limited snaps.
Yeah.
Tracy, Marvin Harrison Jr. Everybody's going back to that 26 versus the Rams. McMillan or Thielen. Where are we leaning here, Ryan?
Dobbins, McMillan.
Agreed.
Dobbins and McMillan for me as well. McMillan, Thielen, Marvin Harrison for the wide receiver 2 spot from Tony. Same question, I guess. 1, 2, 3, Jalen McMillan. And for Woods Girl, half PPR, you going Calvin Ridley or Adam Thielen, Ryan?
Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, and half PPR, it's 100% Ridley.
Half PPR, it's Ridley for me as well. Jason does chime in, was thinking Marvin Harrison because the opponent has Kyler Murray, so can counter him because they have Jaden Daniels and he has Terry McLaurin to counter.
Jason asked this on Tuesday as well, and this is the one where I answered, be happy your opponent is starting Kyler Murray and stay as far away from that game as possible. So.
I'm not that down on it, but yeah, I'm not treating this matchup any differently than any other matchup.
Exactly.
Just because it's the championship. I'm trying to put my best team on the field. So, and it doesn't matter what my opponent is doing. Yep.
100%. All right. From Sean, pick 2 in a full PPR. Who are we sitting between Drake London, Jalen Waddle, or Ramondre Stevenson? Ryan.
I'll sit Jalen Waddle every chance that I can. It's just who I am as a person. So.
I'm sitting Waddle because of the injury. You don't know how much work he's going to get, if any.
Yeah, I'm sitting Waddle here as well. And last one from Woods Girl, Chiggy Chiggy Bang Bang, or TJ Hawkinson in a half PPR. Joel, where are you going here?
Hawkinson.
Yep.
Hawkinson for me as well. And from Chaz, last one. I think actually this is a really interesting question.
Great
AJ
question.
Brown or Devontae Adams. Ryan, where are you going here?
If Adams were healthy and or the Jets were playing for anything, it would be Adams so very easily. But because of the situation with New York right now, I'm going AJ Brown.
Joel.
Yeah, like I said, we saw the target share that Pickett gave to AJ Brown was the first look on basically every play. So yeah, it's AJ Brown for me.
Also AJ Brown for me, but I think this is a necessary conversation because you have these two guys. AJ Brown, obviously, with a backup quarterback, could get dicey, especially if they lean on Barkley pretty heavily. Devontae is the one in that offense. It's been proven. Personally, I think Devontae has the most upside, and that's coming from an Eagles fan, people. But I will say this, and we talked about this a little bit earlier in the show. If you ended up with some of these duds from Wednesday and Thursday and you need to shoot for the moon, I think this is where you pivot to Devontae Adams. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
The one thing I would say is Kenny Pickett got thrown into the game with no practice. He's had a full week of practice this week.
Yep.
So,
but he hasn't, though, because he's been dealing with his own injuries. There was legitimate questions that Tanner McKee might be starting this week.
Only the Eagles, baby.
I'm just saying. Saying.
I still like AJ Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, like I said, I think he has the safest floor. But, it's there. Sean, we did not miss your question, I don't think. We said that we would sit Jalen Waddle.
Well, he said he missed his question, not us.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We said we would
sit Waddle.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Gotcha. All right. Another one from Jamie. Kyler Murray or Mason Rudolph. Not getting that cute. Still going.
Exactly.
Kyler.
I was gonna say Murray still has the rushing upside that makes him the superior play there. So
correct.
I could not live with myself if I started Mason Rudolph over Kyler.
Yeah.
Facts. All right. We trusting T. Higgins today, or would you pivot?
No, we
Jaden
trust
Reed, Adam Thielen.
Oh,
Josh Downs.
I'm pivoting to Reed. Reed's got a great matchup.
Yeah, I thought that last week against the Saints, and that fucking bit me in the ass.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, but they didn't have the Vikings are terrible against slot receivers, and Reed has gone off against them. He had 2 touchdowns in the game last year. He had over 100 and a touchdown in the game earlier this season. He eats up the Vikings. So yeah, I'm smashing Jaden Reed against the Vikings.
I'll still go Higgins.
I'm still gonna go Higgins. I can't trust Jaden Reed, and I'm not gonna trust him in championship.
Let me be clear. I'm also telling someone to trust a questionable tag T. Higgins. You know what? I'll go Jaden Reed too, because T. Higgins may play one fucking.
Remember, they had such a big lead that they were giving free touchdowns to Chris Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson. That's not going to happen this week. They are going to have to throw the ball. I love Jaden Reed's like an easily top 10 receiver.
Yeah, like I said, there's a reason we don't trust questionable players, and that reason is T. Higgins. So
you're gonna make me want to start Jaden Reed in one championship. And Joel, I'm coming after you, man. I'm coming after you.
I'm telling you, look at his numbers against the Vikings. He eats them alive.
JJ is down, hurts. That sucks, buddy. Drake May, Aaron Rodgers, Anthony Richardson, Bryce Young. Ryan, you sticking with Bryce Young here?
Yeah, I'm sticking with Bryce, and Joel's going with May.
I'm going with May. Yep.
I also am going to go with Bryce Young. All right, last one, which I believe we've answered a few times. Chig
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Kraft and Hawk or Chig. It's Kraft and Hawk, I believe, correct? That's
Yeah,
where we went here?
Chig falls into the streams. The other guys are starters. Classic Mike just threw out there Antonio Gibson getting the start over Ramondre Stevenson, but
Yeah,
we
that'll
touched
last a
on
drive.
this. It lasted a drive last time, so we're not panicking.
Yeah, Gerard Mayo just told reporters. Well, you know,
Yep.
Not worried about it.
leave that for what you will. All right. Hey, we're done an hour and 40 minutes later. Appreciate all of the questions. This show literally is nothing without everybody tuning in and asking the questions for us to answer. Once again, if you haven't already, head over to trophysmack.com/WOFF, WOFF, and get yourself some championship swag, because we know that you are taking down those championships. Use promo code WOFF at checkout. Get yourself a free championship ring with the purchase of a belt or trophy for our good favorite people over at Women of Fantasy Football. Love our partnership with that. He is the Joel Wirth. I am the one Hudsonian. That, of course, is the Fantasy 5. Follow us across the socials.
How have I never noticed that we are all these? I love it.
Joel just doesn't capitalize his. That's the difference.
Yeah.
You, of course, can follow Club Fantasy across the socials at Club Fantasy FFL, the URL, clubfantasyffl.com. Check out Austin's cash game article that is up on the website. And be sure to follow us on Twitter, because tomorrow we will have our start sit thread. Us, a few others on the team, live and ready to answer all of your questions. It is a reply thread, but drop them in there and we will remain busy all Sunday morning helping you pick up any pieces that maybe fell by the wayside here with these 3 Saturday games. This has been Start Sit Different Day. We'll see everybody, well, for our airing of the grievances episode next Saturday, but the next time you'll see us live here on the channel is Monday morning at 11 a.m. for Monday's Anxiety with Gator J, myself, and Ryan. Like, subscribe. Appreciate all of you. We'll see everybody then.